Russ was in the gym yesterday, and there was just a different energy. Can't explain it, but it's just his voice, his leadership, his intensity, his competitive spirit, I think are all things that are not only going to help this team, but I think he's going to really help individual players kind of achieve. Priority is always trying to get our new guys acclimated as quickly as possible. Russell Westbrook, Dario Saric, having a great training camp. We have 4 days of practice before we head over to Abu Dhabi. And then getting off to a great start. I think it's so important for us to attack October, attack November, and start to feel good about ourselves, get that confidence back. Just met with the team for around 25 minutes and talked about a lot of things last season, this season. And the interesting thing is this, when you win a championship and you don't repeat, everybody says you failed. So the pressure of that is immense. And obviously no one's done that since Golden State in 2017 and 18. And I went back and looked at all the teams since then that won it and what happened the next year. And we probably had one of the best seasons you could have while not winning it. And obviously difficult loss in the second round, and hopefully we've all used that as motivation to come back better individually and collectively. But I think the group is excited. We've had a really good off season, and I think everyone's excited to get started tomorrow.
I know you're one for reflection, obviously, after last season. Just in all of the conversations that you've had with the coaching staff, with the players, with the front office, just what's something that you're looking to improve, something that maybe didn't happen last year that you can translate to this season?
Oh, there's a lot of room for improvement. That's the great thing about it. You tie a franchise record, 57 wins, but you can improve across the board. We were 11-11 in games decided by 5 points or less. We were third place in our division, the toughest division in the league, behind Minnesota and OKC. Our win percentage against playoff teams wasn't where it needs to be. We dominated the teams below 500, but we can do a better job of winning and beating the great teams. Our rebounding, we have to be a much better defensive rebounding team, which I think will help us become a better running team. 2 years ago, we were top 5 in transition offense. Last year, we were 17th. And it can't be just because we have Russell Westbrook now, we're going to be a better running team. We all have to share in that. We're a top 10 three-point shooting team, but we were last in attempts. How can we generate more open looks, more looks? And the reality is, if Jamal Murray takes one more three per game, Michael Porter takes one more three per game, Nikola takes one more three per game, we go from 30th to 15th. So I know a lot is made of that, and the number we shot last year was the same exact number that we shot the year before. But we have shooting, we have really good shooters. So let's try to get 35, 36 threes up per game, as long as they're the right types of threes. But yeah, there's so much room for improvement. And the one thing on the flip side of that, Ryan, is reminding our guys of just how dominant of a team we've been. After a season where everybody says you failed, we're a good team. Last 6 years, no one in the West has come close to doing what we've done. And remind yourself of that, but also challenge yourself to not be satisfied, but to push yourself and push your teammate to become even better. And I look forward to building on what we've done the last 6 seasons and trying to win another championship.
Coach, over here. Big announcement this morning with 9 News, the partnership over the air for 20 games on, over the air. How big is that for the Nuggets fans to be able to see some more games on television?
It's huge news, great news, and obviously I know it's something that Josh and the entirety of KSC have been working very hard on for a long time now. And as you mentioned, the most important part of that is for our fans. I feel we have the best fans in the NBA. And they've been a huge part of our success. And now the fact that our fans can watch the Nuggets play is going to be great, because that's one thing you hear as you walk or drive around town, is that there's people that haven't been able to watch the Nuggets or the Avalanche. And obviously both teams are in the middle of historic runs with great players, and we want our fans to see as many games as possible. So I thought that was great news.
Coach, the young guys are going to be important this year. Everybody says it. Christian, Peyton, and Julian Strother. How much improvement can you expect from each of those guys? Can they improve each one by 10% or 20%? Do you ever think of it like that?
I never think about it from a percentage standpoint, Chris, but obviously, losing KCP is a big loss. But now you have two guys in Christian Brown and Julian Strother who are more than ready and willing and able to take over that opportunity. You mentioned Peyton Watson and the season that he had. So I don't know what the percentage of improvement is, but the most important thing is they have improved, and more importantly, we need them to continue to improve. Julian Strother was in the gym every day this summer, every day. And the guy was a workhorse. And to see what he did last year in the first 40 games before he got hurt, what he did in Summer League before he hurt his ankle, and in this gym leads me to believe that he's poised and ready to have a really good second season. Christian Brown, I mean, the guy helped us win a championship as a rookie. You know what you get from him every single night. And he's another guy that was in the gym a ton this summer. And same with Peyton Watson. I mean, Peyton's ability to impact the game on both ends of the floor. I saw a stat, his 88 blocks were, and coming off the bench, he's among the league leaders in blocks per game for a reserve player that's not really a big. So yes, those three guys are going to have a huge impact on the season, and look forward to helping them, continue their improvement.
Michael, when you're looking at who's going to be the starting shooting guard, what kind of things are you going to weigh?
Yeah, well, it's not just about, I think a lot of times it's just about, well, who had the better stats. I think anytime you look at a starting lineup, it's also got to be what complements the lineup. We already know that we have Jamal, Michael, Aaron, Nikola, pretty good four-man unit. Which player is going to help complement the starters? Which player is going to help complement that second unit? But both Christian and Julian will get chances to be with both groups. And I never believe in just giving things away. I want guys to earn it, fight for it. And, Christian's done it. I mean, he started games. And obviously Julian, much younger, he'll have a chance as well. But, competition's healthy. And lucky for me, we have two young players who are going to make a very tough decision.
Coach, here, welcome back. You mentioned twice the word failure. I don't want to know how do you use that? How do you use all the things that as you says as a motivation and to tell the team to be better to this team?
Can you repeat that?
When you said the word failure twice, do you use that as an extra motivation? Do you use that for you as for the team and as an extra motivation to be better this season? Or do you think you're going to be relaxed about that and you just said that word and you just mentioned that here?
Well, the way I use the word failure is that from the outside, everybody views our season as a failure because we didn't win it. And that's, in one hand, it's a compliment because we've set the standard so high and we were the defending champions. But failure can be a motivation, but it can't be fatal. You have to learn from your failure. And it can motivate you to look deep within to find ways that you can be better across the board, organizationally, players, coaches, collectively. And anytime you come short of achieving your goals, you feel like you left something out there. And I just hope that our players have used that this offseason to force them to come back improved and with a mindset of let's attack this season. Not ease into it, but let's attack it and remind everybody of who we are and what we're capable of.
Michael, with as many young guys as you have on this roster, there are a lot of guys who grew up even watching Russell Westbrook kind of in his prime. I'm curious if he's had any early impact since signing with the team, just even in sort of a practice setting or whatever it may be. And have you had any sort of conversations with him about expectations for him this season, basically?
Yeah, no, I've met with Russ quite a bit, talked with him, great conversations. First and foremost, just have so much respect for his body of work. And the only thing that he hasn't accomplished is winning an NBA championship. That's the only thing missing from a very, very impressive resume. And he saw something in this team, this group of players, this franchise, where he wanted to be a part of that. And that speaks to, what we have going on here. Russ was in the gym yesterday, and there was just a different energy. Can't explain it, but it's just his voice, his leadership, his intensity, his competitive spirit, I think are all things that are not only going to help this team, but I think he's going to really help individual players kind of achieve their potential and push them to be the best that they can be. So I love that he's here. I think Russell Westbrook, first ballot Hall of Famer. I love guys that bring it every single night, and that's what he's done every game he's ever played in.
I'm going to ask a little more directly. You're competitive, you've been in this business a long time, and you know the standards for coaches in terms of wins and losses. A lot's been made of the front office's movement towards addressing CBA challenges with young players, and then the competition with that, with trying to win a title. What's your view on trying to approach this season and any potential disagreements or conflicts that there might be between your priorities as a coach and what the front office has to do?
Well, me, Calvin, Josh, I think as long as we're aligned and communicating and collaborating and also challenging each other, like Calvin and I shouldn't always agree. If we're always agreeing, then we're not really accomplishing what we need to accomplish. But through those disagreements and through those conversations, you come to a greater good. And this is a reality. I mean, like you look across the NBA landscape, teams are letting great players walk because they don't want to approach that really dirty word of second apron. And as a coach, I have to educate myself because I put blinders on. How do we win the game tonight? But I have to give respect to Calvin. I have to give respect to Josh and understand that it's more than just tonight. It's also a much bigger perspective on how we're going to be set up for success, not just tonight and this season, but for down the road. And all you ever want as a coach is to have the support from your front office and have the support from your ownership group. And I have that. I've had that from day one. And I feel very fortunate to have the relationship that I have with both Calvin and Josh because I've been around this game a long time, and I know that doesn't exist in a lot of places.
Coach, you've said a lot that dynasties aren't linear. You've brought up the Spurs in the past in terms of they've never won any. They didn't win back to back, but they won a number of championships over a number of periods of time. What does that look like for you if you guys are to kind of approach that kind of franchise with that kind of championship level staying power? And how important is that to you guys, going into this year to kind of accomplish something like that?
Oh, it's really important. If you're not striving to be the best, what are you, now you're just wasting time. And like Moses Malone used to say, ain't no half-stepping. If you're going to do it, do it. And I think we have a locker room of 21 players down there, excited for camp, but also excited for what the season holds. And, Jamal Murray said something really interesting. Like, he reminded his teammates, don't take this for granted. Like, we have a championship window. Not every team has a championship window. And what do? Do you take advantage of that, or do you look back in 20 years and have regrets? And the vibe and feel I get from our players is that they tasted success. They tasted being feeling what it's like to be on that mountaintop. We were knocked off last year. So, let's get back up. Don't feel sorry for ourselves and continue to work. But I made the point about San Antonio because everybody wants to repeat, but they never did that. But they had a standard of excellence year in and year out. When you ask anybody in the NBA community, they'll say, hell yeah. San Antonio definitely had a dynasty. And, you want to be remembered as a team that achieved greatness. And hopefully we can do that. That's our goal this year. And I'm excited to start this journey with everybody in this building pulling in the same direction.
Coach, back here. What position is Peyton? And I don't mean like shooting guard, small forward. I mean like on offense, is he along the perimeter, or is he in that dunker spot? On defense, do you see him more up top, guarding point of attack, or do you want him a little bit closer to the rim as that secondary shot blocker?
All the above. And the reason I say that is because in today's NBA, I think versatility is such a key word. And so you talk about Peyton offensively. Can he play along the dunker and mimic what Aaron Gordon does with Nikola? Of course he can, and I think he's going to get better and better at that. Can he be a guy that catches on the perimeter and go and catch and attack the rim? We were, I think, 29th in free throw attempts a game last year. Peyton Watson should be living at the foul line. He has to have that attack mindset. He shot around 29 from three last year, and we have a goal for him this year to be obviously 35 or higher. Lofty goal. He's put the time in. He's put the reps in. And if teams are going to leave him open, he's got to make them pay. Defensively, what I love about Peyton is he can guard Steph Curry one night. He can guard Kevin Durant the next night. He can guard Karl Anthony Towns maybe the night after. And so I think it's my job to put him on the best matchup for us. Who can he go out there and stop? And I think it's important for Peyton to continue to work on his offensive craft, but always come into every game thinking, how can I dominate defensively? Because when he does that, that ignites our break, and that's when I think we're at our best. I think Peyton's offensive and defensive versatility is very impressive, and you'll see him probably all over the court doing a lot of everything this year.
Coach, staying on the topic of defense, you mentioned the absence of KCP. Last couple of years, you've had the luxury of being able to assign him to the best guard on the other team. How do you envision it working now? Who guards Steph Curry, Jamal Morant, the smaller guards? You have a number of guards that are eligible. How do you see that working out, guarding a smaller guy?
Yeah, well, I think, just look at the job Christian Brown did in the playoffs. I thought Christian's defense on Anthony Edwards, one of the tougher perimeter players in the league, was really impressive. So I think Christian Brown has shown and proven to me that he's willing to take on that responsibility. It's funny, I think when people talk about Russell Westbrook, no one really mentions defense. They mention how quick he is, how explosive he is, the rebounding, the playmaking. When we went back and watched as a staff his defense last year with the Clippers, end of games, he was on the opposing team's best player every night. Every night. So you have a guy that you can close games with in Russell Westbrook, who knows the league, knows personnel, has a respect of the officials, and has a competitive, I'm going to get you, and other people as well. We talked about Peyton Watson being a guy that can guard bigs and smalls. And I've seen Jamal Murray be a guy, when locked in, can be a great defender. So it's going to take all of us. I'm not going to put it on just one player. We were a top 8 defense last year. Our goal this year is to be top 3. And I think we have that within us.
Michael, this is 10 years with the Denver Nuggets, a lot accomplished there, but I imagine it's a double-edged sword. Do you concern yourself at all with keeping the message fresh and not letting the room get stale? And as a second point, is there anything with the team where you look at, even though we've had success, for the sake of keeping things fresh, let's try to add new wrinkles, new roles and responsibilities to different guys?
Yeah, I'm not the same coach I was 10 years ago when I first got here. And one thing that we always do, Adam, is that we take a deep dive and look within after each season, try to identify whatever blind spots we may have, but also trying to find ways to keep things fresh for Nikola, for Jamal, 10 years, 9 years, for Michael, for Aaron, guys that have been here, expanding packages, creating new packages, trying new things defensively, coming up with new drills in practice. And what also helps is as you bring in new players, like a Deron Holmes, like a Trey Alexander, Russell Westbrook, Dario Saric, I think new blood comes in here also allows you to kind of keep it fresh somewhat. I think I hate monotony. I hate doing the same thing every day. And I think we've done a pretty good job of trying to challenge ourselves to keep things as fresh as possible, but by also not losing sight of how and why we've been so successful. And our culture has kind of been a mainstay. That hasn't changed. The people around it, the philosophies on offense and defense may change, but at the end of the day, at our core, we have to maintain our Denver Nuggets culture and be disciplined and adhere to that. Thanks, everybody.